The weather looks quite... There's no...
Continue the investigation.
Hello again.
Monsieur McQueen,
I love how you say my name.
will you be serious?
I am serious. Sorry. I'd better be careful. I've realized I'm definitely the most suspicious character on the train. All you have to do is find a will in which the old man left me all his money, and that'll just about clinch it.
Is there a will?
Not that I know of. He'd never leave me a cent, really. I was just useful to him. Languages and so on. I'm no linguist, but I can get by in German and Italian and French.
You told me you knew Sonia Armstrong.
Yes, I did. My dad was the district attorney on the case. So yes, well, I was just a kid, of course, a teenager. Schoolboy crush, I suppose, and all that.
It occurs to me that in spite of everything, the murder may not have to do with the Armstrong case at all.
Oh? I thought that must be pretty settled.
We have much evidence pointing to the existence of an outsider aboard the train. One who disguises himself, uses a stiletto to kill, then vanishes into the snow. What do you think?
It's certainly a possibility, but in that case, it'll be hard to catch now. He's had quite a head start.
Or he could be out there frozen in a snowdrift or lying broken at the bottom of a rocky ravine. The body may never be found until the spring thaw.
Well, that conjures up an unpleasantly graphic image. You seem to really enjoy this stuff.
I enjoy the investigation, monsieur. I certainly do not enjoy the fact that a man has died.
No, of course not. Say, I was just wondering. I mean, I have no plans to return to the States right away. I may find myself back in Istanbul. I was wondering if you might consider having dinner with me some night.
I might consider it if you promise to relax.
Relax? Sure, you bet. You will? Say, that's swell. You've got 10 times the spunk of any girl I've ever known.
Well, had a good rummage through my kit, I expect?
Yes, thank you. There is still some information I think you might be able to give us.
Indeed? I hardly think so.
Is that pipe cleaner one of yours?
Don't know. I don't have them monogrammed.
Can you tell me how the pipe cleaner came to be in Monsieur Ratchet's compartment?
Haven't a clue.
Did you go into Monsieur Ratchet's compartment at any time?
I've never even spoken to the man.
You never spoke to him, and you did not murder him.
If I had, I should hardly be likely to acquaint you with the fact.
Ah, well, it is of no consequence.
Oh?
Monsieur Poirot has told me he can think of 11 excellent explanations of its presence. Not now, when it's all over, when it's behind us.
Is that a quote?
Mademoiselle Debenham said those words to you at Sakeki Station in Istanbul. Tell me to what those words referred.
Why don't you ask Miss Debenham?
I will.
You have nothing whatever against her.
I'm sorry, but you're wrong. We know that Mademoiselle Debenham was governess in the Armstrong household at the time Daisy Armstrong was kidnapped.
The devil, you say?
If Mademoiselle Debenham is innocent, why did she conceal the fact?
I have no idea, but your suspicions are utter rot.
Why did Mademoiselle Debenham tell me she had never been to America?
You better ask her. I still think you are wrong. You're making a serious mistake.
I think it is you, Colonel, who have made the mistake.
This is all nonsense.
Signore Foscarelli, I'm here for the truth.
I think that everyone has underestimated this Signore Poirot, and you too, Signorina. You too.
I found a chauffeur's license in your suitcase.
Yes, but it is a fact I have loved motor cars my whole life. Selling them, though, is much finer than driving other people's cars.
The license is issued by the state of New York. You said you lived in Chicago. Chicago is not in that state, is it?
No. Chicago is in the state of Illinois.
It will be a point in your favor if you tell me the truth.
You talk like the American police. Come clean. That is what they say. Come clean.
You were arrested by the American police. Was that in New York?
Arrested? No, never. They could not prove anything against me.
Don't you think you should come clean, monsieur?
It is true. I have not been frank with you. The word frank, it is odd, no? It is a man's name, but I think it is correct here. I am not frank. Sometimes, you know, a motor car may not be perfect, but you must make a sale. So you are not frank.
You were the Armstrong chauffeur, were you not?
Since you know, why ask me?
Why did you lie to me?
Lie? Lie? I did not lie. I was not frank.
Why?
I do not trust the Yugoslavian police. They do not like Italians. They would not have given me justice.
Tell me about Daisy Armstrong.
That little one. She was the delight of the house. Tonio, she called me. They all did. She would sit in the car and pretend to hold the wheel. Such a beautiful little one.
Have you been frank about your movements last night?
I had nothing to do with that business. It was not I who killed that pig Ratchet. You cannot prove anything against me.
Thank you, Monsieur Foscarelli. Those cabinets are...
I understand we'll be underway soon.
Yes, the snow is being cleared now. I'm sorry you'll miss your boat to America.
Under the circumstances, I've decided to stop in Paris for a few days, play with my grandchildren, and recuperate from this trip.
Have you thought of anything else that might be helpful to our investigation?
Well, you certainly have everyone in an uproar. Maybe next time you'll be able to be more discreet. Oh, I forgot. You probably won't be doing any more investigating after this, will you?
That's all.
That wasn't helpful? I thought it was.
That will do for now, Madame Hubbard. Monsieur Hardman?
I owe you an apology, Miss Marceau.
You do?
I wasn't very polite when we first met outside the station. And I came on kind of strong when you caught me going through Michelle's things. No excuse for it. Fact is, I've always liked French girls. And that's not a line, just the way it is. That makes my behavior even worse somehow, I think. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Monsieur Hartman. I accept your apology.
Thanks. So exactly what's up on this train? Seems bughouse to me.
To me, too, sometimes.
Fire away if you want to grill me some more.
Have you done any more investigating of your own?
Nope, after you caught me, I figured it wasn't worth it. Snooping around might make me look guilty. I've been sitting tight.
It seems obvious the murder is tied to the Armstrong kidnapping.
How did you and Poirot get wise to that? That's what I'd like to know.
We guessed.
Okay, I'll pretend I believe that.
You were not the gardener at the Armstrong house, were you?
They didn't have a garden. I'm beginning to believe I'm about the only one on this train who had no connection to that case.
Have you any ideas of your own about the crime?
I admit it's got me beat. I wouldn't be surprised if...
I don't think she's in the mood for conversation. Monsieur Masterman, you were once in military service.
Yes, miss, but I can't think how you could know.
Love's Captive by Mrs. Arabella Richardson.
Ah, yes. One of the privileges a soldier retains after he's mustered out. Access to the Royal Military Library. It's quite well stocked. Not all strategy and tactics and memoirs, as you've discovered.
What was your regiment?
Miss Marceau, I'm going to tell you the truth. My service is, of course, a matter of record. I don't wish to hide it. I'm quite proud of it, as a matter of fact, but it's easily researched, and the connections will be found.
Connections?
I'm sure you must already suspect. Yes, I knew Colonel Armstrong. I was his Batman in the war, and afterwards his valet in New York. I'm afraid I concealed that fact when you questioned me earlier. It was very wrong of me, miss. I feel better now that I've made a clean breast of it.
Would you like to change your story about last night?
Why, no. It is as I told you.
Do you have anything more to tell me of the Italian gentleman?
No, miss, and I hope you're not suspecting Tonio in any way. Tonio wouldn't hurt a fly, and I can state positively that he never left our compartment all last night. Tonio may be a foreigner, miss, but he's a very gentle creature. Really, not like those nasty, murdering mafiosi one reads about.
You seem to know Tonio better than you led me to believe.
Well, yes, we work together. He hasn't told you yet. I thought he had. That's why I... Oh, dear. I think I have nothing more to say.
Au revoir, monsieur. Countess, I'm sorry to bother you again, but I wonder if I might have another word with you.
Certainly.
Do you remember when I showed you this handkerchief? Handmade, embroidered in Paris, and of course, the letter H. 3 ladies aboard have the letter H in their names. But Madame Hubbard considers such a handkerchief useless. Mademoiselle Debenham's middle name is Hermione, but her handkerchiefs are dainty linen, not expensive. Hildegard Schmidt is a lady's maid, not a lady.
Why are you telling me this?
It leaves only you and Princess Dragomirov, but her first name is Natalia.
It isn't my handkerchief.
There is a wet luggage label on your suitcase.
Oh?
Pulling it back, I found the initials HMK.
Well, that is fascinating, isn't it?
You told me you have never been to America.
I've never been to America.
When you say you've never been to America, you say it with an American accent.
These questions are pointless.
These are observations, Monsieur Lecomte, not questions.
You take too much upon yourself, mademoiselle. You are not a detective. You are a clerk in a train office, and your employer will hear her a representative of this railway, treated a diplomat and his wife.
Why was the grease spot added to your passport and the label to your case?
My wife has told you the handkerchief is not hers. There are no H's in her name. Let that be an end to it.
Why did you hide your true identity?
Surely you can guess the reason. This man who called himself Ratchet murdered my baby niece, killed my sister, and broke my brother-in-law's heart. 3 of the people I loved best and who made up my home, my world. Of all the people on this train, I alone had the strongest motive for killing him.
I give you my word of honor. Helena never left her compartment last night.
Then the handkerchief is yours.
No, it is not. I know I can't hope to make you believe me, but I assure you that is the truth.
When we learned who the man was, and that the handkerchief had been found with the letter H near his body, I pointed out to Helena it would be better to remove any connection to her. A luggage label, a grease spot to cover the alteration. What could be simpler?
I have read quite a bit about crime, Monsieur Leconte. I hope you will take it as a compliment if I say you have the makings of a very fine criminal.
I think I will not take that as a compliment, no.
Madame la Comtesse, the motive for the murder lies in the past, in the tragedy that broke up your home. Help me. Take me back into the past. Tell me about your sister's household.
What can I tell you? They're all dead! All dead! All dead! Sonia, Robert, darling, darling Daisy. That curly hair, impossible to comb, that sweet, sweet smile.
Tell me about the nursery maid who committed suicide.
Suzanne. If she was involved, I'm sure it was innocently. Chatting idly with someone, giving the times of Daisy's outings.
What was Suzanne's nationality?
She was French.
What was Suzanne's last name?
I was only a child myself at the time. All we called her was Suzanne.
Was there a nurse?
Yes, a trained hospital nurse. New Daughter was her name.
Did you have a tutor or governess, perhaps?
Yes, she was a dragon. English, or rather Scots. A big red-haired woman.
What was her name?
Miss Freebody, if you can believe it.
How old was she?
She seemed frightfully old to me at the time, but I suppose she couldn't have been more than 40.
I know you were only a child at the time, and that the passage of years changes a person, but have you seen anyone on this train who reminds you of any of those people?
No, mademoiselle.
Pardon me, Count. I still have 1 or 2 matters I would like to discuss.
Then please, do so.
Did you notice the grease spot on your passport? See it just at the beginning of your wife's first name?
These things happen when traveling.
Have you remembered anything about last night that might help us?
Nothing.
Au revoir, Monsieur Leconte. Dr. Constantine?
I thought you had forgotten about me. You have further need of my expert advice?
I'd like to talk to you about that, yes.
Good.
Could you give me an account of your movements last night?
My movements? Surely, I am not a suspect. But it is absurd. I joined the train at Belgrade. I am the sole paying passenger of the Athens-Paris coach. Surrounded by the working staff. The doors are locked between my coach and the coach to Calais. So, I could not have committed the murder.
That will do for now, Doctor. I have a few more questions, Frau Schmidt, if I may.
Yeah, of course.
How long have you been with Madame la Princesse?
10 years. 15 years, Schmidt. Yeah, that is right. 15, mademoiselle. I am sorry. This murder, this waiting, it distracts me.
I understand you are an excellent cook.
Yeah, indeed. All of my ladies have said so. Your Excellency.
Calm yourself, Schmidt. You don't know what you are saying.
That is true. I do not know what I am saying.
Thank you, Mademoiselle Schmidt. I have returned to you, Your Highness.
I thought you might.
I'm having some difficulty locating the owner of this handkerchief.
I am sorry to hear that. If you had asked me, I could have told you it is mine.
Yours? But, Your Highness, your first name is Natalia.
I'm perfectly aware of my first name, mademoiselle. My handkerchiefs are always embroidered with Russian characters. In the Cyrillic alphabet, H is written as L.
How did your handkerchief come to be lying by the murdered man's body?
I have no idea.
Your maid said she did not recognize this handkerchief.
Schmidt believes in loyalty as I do. I believe in loyalty to one's friends and one's family and one's class.
Thank you for your time, Princess.
Dear young miss, I would like to say that despite all the calamity, I have enjoyed sharing my compartment.
Thank you, Greta, but I'm afraid I must ask you some more questions.
Yeah, I am thinking you must. Our gracious Father, who art in heaven, guides your hand, I think. So, I am content.
I found a postcard in your suitcase.
My one keepsake from that time. It is a silly thing, but I hold it dear.
Coney Island is in America.
Yeah, of course. It is on the Long Island of New York in the country of America. I lied to you when I said I had never been there. May God forgive me.
On the back of the postcard, you write that Helena rode on the roller coaster.
Helena Gilbert, Mrs. Armstrong's young sister, only 10 years of age, but so brave. I am not so brave. It is true. It is true. She was an angel, a sweet, trusting angel. She knew nothing but kindness and love, and she was took away by that wicked, wicked man. And her poor mother, and the other little one who never lived at all. I was to be that little child's nurse, too. I ought to have told you, but I was afraid. I did so rejoice that that evil man was dead, that he could not any more kill the little children. All the talk wears me out so.
Excuse me, please, mademoiselle. I will be happy to.
I'd better close.
Thanks to our master chef's perseverance, the Wiener Schnitzel and Erdäpfel salad will be served as promised.
This seems to be a security door. It certainly lives up to its name. That key. This contains. don't think he's in the mood. Even after a rescue train arrives, that avalanche will even after the Cali.
Ah, your return. So is there more to report to me, mademoiselle?
And that is everything I have discovered so far.
We progress, mademoiselle. Let us see what we can learn.
The handkerchief with the H belongs to the princess.
I confess I should have remembered that in the Cyrillic alphabet, Arch is written as N. And she has a strong motive to want Ratchet dead. But are we meant to believe that this elderly woman prances about in the scarlet silk kimono? Or could strike with such ferocity?
Schmidt is accustomed to cooking for her employers, as we suspected.
And her mistake in how long she has been in the employ of the princess is remarkable. A difference 1/3 less than her mistress claims. 10 years. We must look deeper into this. What course do you suggest?
I will ask the Countess the name of the Armstrong cook.
The Countess has lied to us most shamelessly already, I'm afraid, mademoiselle. No, I think young
Boscarelli was the Armstrong chauffeur.
It was a deduction most simple.
Masterman was Colonel Armstrong's valet.
And he's Batman during the war.
Greta Olson was Daisy Armstrong's nurse.
This may explain the zeal with which she cares for her young charges at her mission, and why she never had any children of her own.
The nursemaid Suzanne, who threw herself to her death, was French.
Oui. To know her full name might be instructive.
The Armstrong nurse was named New Daughter.
An odd name, that. What nationality do you think?
Slavic or Scandinavian?
Well, perhaps. I think that the Countess has the most fanciful mind and is quite adept at the word games. She is playing them now. Noi Daughter sounds, I think, only by coincidence, vaguely Scandinavian. Olsen is, of course, authentic Scandinavian.
New Daughter. New Daughter. Olsen, old son.
It is not yet fact, but it is worth pursuing.
Helena Gilbert's governess was an old hag named Freebody.
What an unfortunate name for an old hag is Freebody. It is more apt a name for the generation of flippers.
Flappers. The fast young women were called flappers in America. Thank goodness skirts are finally lengthening again.
As you say. I wonder if during your time at university in England you had occasion to patronize the clothing shops for the fashionable woman in London.
No, Monsieur Poirot, not on a student's budget.
There is such a shop near my own tailor called Debenham and Freebody, and the description the Countess gives to you is as far from the attractive young woman Mary Debenham as one could hope to get.
The Countess recognized no one on the train.
Including Madame la Princesse, her sister's godmother? Monsieur McQueen she may also have seen, but he has grown much, of course, and the appearance changes. But a woman of the advanced years of the princess does not change so much, I think. No, I find this lack of recognition the most damning point against the Countess in all of her evasions and lies. So you see now why the Countess's failure to recognize anyone grows beyond suspicious.
Perhaps she is nearsighted. If she were the second murderer in Ratchet's room last night, that might explain why she didn't notice he was already dead.
You know, at times you remind me so of my good friend Hastings. Merci, mademoiselle. Unfortunately, the report, it is not yet complete. We are now armed with... Continue